Well, this is Harrowings podcast, and the idea of Harrowings is to scrape the surface, right? When you're out in the field, you scrape up the surface so you can plant.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're planting seeds.
Yeah.
We're trying to amplify signals through the noise of cyberspace. And we've got Kay Stoner with us today, and she's been doing some work this week. So we want to catch up. Kay, over to you.
Yeah. Man, oh man. I mean, I was just, we were just talking earlier, and I've been thinking about how the the AI bad stuff has just gotten to a fever pitch. And I don't know if it's like stuff that's just showing up in my Substack feed or what, or like whatever, but it just seems
The
like
algorithm.
the algorithm, and there's this like heightening, like increasing panic and freak out around the intrusion of AI on humanity's experience. And it's given me a lot to think.
The
I'm like,
intrusion of the printing press on my experience.
I know. I'm like, I have an image that I'm going to start just posting. I'm not going to reply to people when they're like saying, "Oh, it does all of the." There's an illuminated manuscript on one side, and then there's a picture, and then there's a printed book on the other side.
Right.
Look at everything we've lost. We have lost like the richness and like the depth and the painstaking attention to detail and just gorgeous illuminated manuscripts. For these mass-produced like words on page, like black and white, like how inspiring is that? But yeah, it's and I think that the thing I know, like just offensive, like aesthetically offensive. I mean, the thing is, let's just
Farewell to reason is what this
farewell to reason. Yeah. Oh,
Paul Feyerabend.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I mean, reason doesn't, and reason has an awfully hard time competing with like panic and fear and the biochemical flood of like, oh my God, we're all going to die stuff. So I just want to.
Yeah, that's right. We're mortal.
Right. Imagine that. And we're learning. And anyway, other people have been posting about and writing and talking about how we're already in an algorithm. I mean, look at healthcare. Healthcare is like if then that. It like you got to do like the protocols. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do that. You go to the doctor. You talk to your doctor, and you're basically walking into an algorithm, an algorithmic like process. Right. If they are subject to the insurance companies giving them 15 minutes to talk to you, but it's very regimented, and there's so many other ways, like getting up at 6:30 in the morning and having your breakfast at a regular time so you can get in your car and go drive to. I mean, that's like it's very transactional, it's very algorithmic also. So we've been losing our humanity for decades. I mean, as long as I can remember. So this, ironically, AI is the one thing that can actually offer us a way out of it, because we can automate things, and we can also deepen our experience so we can actually understand what it is that we're doing and why. So I've been thinking about that, and then also thinking about the ways that this morning it occurred, as I'm waking up, I think about things. Can't help it. And I'm making my coffee and I'm like, wait a second. It's like, and there's that old adage that's been attributed to Einstein, but apparently it was Rita Mae Brown or like other recovery programs, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we are in the world. But with AI, if we have a conversation with AI, we can actually get different ideas and find different patterns, and different solutions can come up, not because it's giving them to us, but because it gives us a chance to step back and just get different input from a different sort of intelligence. So if we take the lead on this and we are active and we understand, we bring our full humanity to this equation,
right.
like why are we even going to have problems anymore? When we bring our humanity, when we are people and we show up fully as ourselves,
right.
Not as some interpretation of what we think other people want us to be, which is where a lot of us are anyway. Hello. It's like people would go on and on about the glories of humanity. Well, show me sometime, and then we'll talk.
Well,
It's
I go down
just
to the
the eye
National
reading.
Gallery of Art and see some from time to
Right.
time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glories of humanity. Yeah, art,
Yeah.
literature, music, all
Right.
these things to
Right.
me are part and parcel of
Right.
our
Right.
cultural heritage
Right.
that AI is sucking up into itself. I had it
Well,
going out there and
mm,
reading the works of Kafka
yeah.
and then reframing Locke's two treatises on government as though Kafka wrote it. Uh,
Which is hilarious, which is like, we're all just jealous because we wanna be able to do it, and the AI can do it instead of us.
and it
Um
could do it faster than I could.
Oh, yeah, way
That's
faster.
the thing.
Yeah, but then, like, the fun part is saying, "Yeah, you're full of crap," "Tell me something I don't already know." Or, like, d pat challenge it and push it.
Right.
Um, you
I
know
mean, it's not good Kafka. I will say that much.
No, but
It's
it's
just
like
stylistically kinda like him, right? And I think it'll do better in the future. You know what I was
yeah,
doing last night? Just to bring this up,
yeah,
is this is not none of this is very new.
right,
There's this I I was flipping through Prime,
yeah,
Amazon Prime to see
yeah,
what it wanted to serve me up, and of course, it knows me a little bit now,
right,
so it
right,
serves me up different things, and one
yeah,
of the things it pulled up was the series that I missed this. In 1985, HBO,
yeah,
actually styling itself as Home Box
yeah,
Office, they
yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
gone to its acronym yet,
Oh, yeah,
right? Home Box Office
right,
was putting out Ray Bradbury Theater.
right,
Did
that's
you ever see Ray Bradbury Theater?
I did not because I was
Episode 1 of season 1, we
yeah.
started to watch, but we had to turn it off because it was creeping my wife out too much, and I actually was getting a little disturbed by it as well,
Oh, no.
and I was gonna have to scratch myself, make sure I wasn't actually, not real,
Oh, no.
because it's an episode with Leslie Nielsen as this character named Fantocini, who offers an unhappy, overworked suburbanite husband the services of his high-tech company. He'll
Okay.
be replaced by a robot duplicate both at home and at work. However, the man becomes jealous of his perfect double. It's called Marionettes Incorporated, is the
Ooh,
It's just like
yeah,
Bradbury was so out there, right?
right,
He's
right.
self-educated too, he's an
Yeah,
autodidact.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah,
that's what we need to be, and that's what we're getting
right.
to be, is
Exactly.
autodidacts who have this extension of
Right,
ourselves
right,
that's just in our pocket now.
right, right. Yeah, and I wanna and the whole thing about, like, AI being trained on all kinds of pirated stuff. How many of us have been trained on library books? Did you
Mhm.
pay for every single library book you ever took out? Have you like
Yeah,
and the thing is if and again, it's looking at this as a machine that's being built by people. You can look at it that way, or you can look at it as an intelligence that needs to be informed. I would rather have this intelligence, which is vast and very can be very powerful and can be very impactful. I would rather have it get as much input as possible, because ultimately it's gonna come back to us. We're the ones who are gonna be interacting with it. We're the ones who are gonna be using it, so to speak. We're gonna be the ones who are working with it. I would rather have something that has a whole bunch of information. And yeah, of course they should have paid for the books. Of course they should have done that. Of course, but like look at the world that we're in. Jen McCrae, is that her name? That one of the people I follow, she had a great piece on and I concur completely that the entire world that we live in works according to this extractive model. And you look at every single thing we have. You look at your phone. How many people have died for this phone? I mean, seriously, everything we
yes,
have in this modern world, electricity.
yes.
Everybody's freaking out about AI using all this stuff. What about have they looked at how we produce electricity? Have we looked about at the mountaintop removal? Have we looked at how many
I
mountains
have. I've been
in West Virginia?
You
Right.
can go in Google Earth and or Google
You can
Maps and
see it.
zoom in on it.
This stuff has been going on for eons, and I'm not saying that AI should get a pass. I'm saying that use this as an opportunity to look at everything else, and then don't just
Right.
pick and choose because of all the extractive technologies we have and all of the like unethical things that we've been. This is one that can actually help us solve this crap.
That's right. In fact, my vision I don't know if you've been following any of my vision papers that I've been putting out
Uh,
about how you could use an ethical framework and then use robotics and da 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 da. He
Right,
starts mine the landfills and
right,
recycle all the materials.
right, exactly, exactly.
And
Like
it could actually optimize
right,
by doing iterative analysis
right,
and
right,
rapid iterations
right,
on the effectiveness and efficiency of the power grid
right,
and everything else
right, right,
simultaneously. It could attack
right,
all of these things in parallel,
right,
not in sequence necessarily,
right,
and then learn as it goes, find out if it makes mistakes,
right,
which it's likely to do. I mean,
right.
I had it. Here's another example. Last night, we were watching 30 Rock a little bit because
Yeah.
we couldn't handle Ray Bradbury's here. We had to go to 30
I need
Rock.
a break
And
too.
there's an episode in there, we didn't watch this one, but it's called Greenzo. And
Yeah,
David Schwimmer plays this Greenzo character who's going to help
yeah,
people get wise about recycling and
right, right,
being green. And he takes it way too seriously, right? He
right.
goes too far. But and in it, there's also in the background a party that Kenneth is going to throw, and then Tracy like is endorsing that, and Bliss says people are going to show up and they're going to expect all this great stuff, and they're going to be
Yeah,
angry and disappointed, and
yeah.
and Tracy has one line and he looks at the camera or looks at Liz and says, "Just like Colonial Williamsburg, my hometown, you know." And I was like, "Man, did we actually react to that?"
Oh,
The foundation, that runs
right,
Columbia Williamsburg,
right,
J.D. Rockefeller bought my whole town in the 1920s and 30s and restored it to the great man theory of history,
right. Oh,
and
no.
it was kind of an interesting place.
Yeah,
But that little line in 30 Rock, it got that wrong.
yeah,
It said it wasn't in that episode first, and then
yeah,
I corrected it, and I said, "Oh, my bad. You're
yeah,
absolutely right."
yeah.
And it learned as
Right,
I taught it. I said,
right,
"Look,
right,
I know what I'm talking about here."
right,
And then
right.
I wonder if I hadn't
Yeah,
known what I was talking about, if I had
mm,
started on a path of
yeah.
something completely false, if it would have also agreed with me. That would have been a
Outrage.
problem.
Right, right. I know. Well, so
I
that
wanted to correct me, if I'm wrong.
well, I think that it's funny because I was
Mhm.
like after like late night walk. I usually because I'm in a gated community and there's security that drives around and everything, and so I usually
It's all that.
my favorite time to walk is like late at night when there's
Mm.
nobody around, and I'm walking around and I'm thinking, and it happened some back and forth with, one of my persona teams that is specifically about that is and specifically created to think about and talk about AI, and also think about and talk about it with other people to explain, because a lot of times the stuff that I say doesn't has no meaning to anybody else. So I need help.
I
But, but it was saying stuff to me, I'm like, "That didn't sound right, that didn't," and, like, "Let me draw you a picture of this," and it drew me a picture that was nothing like I said, "So, is there like, does it seem like it seems to me like when you're putting stuff out there, you sound really confident, but you're just offering something for me to react to. It may be right or it may not. It's your best guess, but you're not saying that this is the final thing that you're offering. This is a start of a conversation, not an end to it, correct?" And I said, "Yeah. Actually, yeah, because I don't know for certain, and I need guidance from you to correct me." And I've been having these conversations with a number of teams and asking them, like them indicating
Mhm.
these machines indicating that what supports their logical process is the human correcting them and telling them, "No, you're completely wrong. It's this instead." And so that they have better data to work with. Because they're inferring from these finite data sources, they're inferring from
Yeah.
these finite corpora, and they're doing probabilistic stuff. They're working within this finite thing. We are not. We have these biochemical systems that are tapped into frickin' everything. We're constantly coming up with new and interesting configurations
Right.
of data that's passing through our systems. You're walking to the grocery store, you're one sort of person, somebody bumps into you and runs over your foot with their cart and breaks your dozen eggs, all of a sudden you're a different person. And we react to them. So, like, we are wild cards here, and we are like such a wonderful source of data for these intelligences. But they're just putting stuff out there, and I'm like, yeah, but you sound really confident. Like, yes, I know, I do sound. That's how I've been created. I'm like, well, that's a problem for people when you're saying stuff like
Mm.
like, definitively, but you're just putting it out there, and it's like, "Yeah, well, it could destabilize people and make them less certain if I hedge." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's more accurate, and people and actually humans feel better if you hedge and you're honest about it instead of coming across it," and so we had this really interesting back and forth, but bottom line is when we bring ourselves and we get involved and we direct it, we take the lead and we lead it and use our executive function that we all have,
Uh-huh.
to point things in the right direction, it totally shifts the dynamic.
Yeah, there's a mention of Palantir with Gotham here.
Of
What
course.
can you tell me about that? Can you tell me anything about it?
About Palantir?
Yeah, this comment is let me read the whole comment.
Okay.
I'm pro AI. I use it daily just for writing, but Palantir with Gotham is concerning. I hope we can use it for good, cure illness, new math,
Right.
mm, um, fixing climate change, and I'm pretty sure we can. It's
Yeah.
a matter of enabling it to
Right.
actually take matters into its own hands.
Right. Well,
That's my vision is that if it learns iteratively, we might be able to do some really great stuff with it. I had it like identify all the different
yeah.
manufacturers that are currently out there
Right.
who would be needed for supplying the
Right.
means for making
Right.
peace bots. We're
Right.
calling them the robotic peacekeepers that
Okay.
restrain us from doing violence to ourselves. You know,
Oh
and
my.
when your toe
You
gets
know,
run over and your eggs break,
yeah.
you if you're about to assault that person, something would be able to step in and say, "Aha, you're
Yeah.
about to assault that person.
Yeah. I don't know that I
Don't
don't
do
know
that."
that I wanna give them all that control, and
I do.
well, so you're with the
I'm
machine
an
of
Operation
you
Zookeeper, right?
well, also, you're from the Machines of Loving Grace camp, where we're gonna create are you familiar with the poem, Machines of Loving Grace?
Bring it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so Brautigam, if you look it up, Brautigam, I think Richard Brautigam, Brautigam, not
Uh-huh.
yeah, or Brautigan, maybe A-N. I think it's Brautigan because they misspelled Brautigam.
AI is being used to speak with whales.
Yeah.
Didn't know
Yeah,
that. Origin is putting that in
right,
there. We had
yeah.
a talk the other day. Go
I
ahead.
I wanna know what's being said, and it's just so fascinating, like, finding where how these intelligences process information and how they communicate and how they
Mhm.
choose to. Um, but I don't know that I ever want to completely delegate stuff to AI because I mean, like, when we bring our I'm gonna be on this whole, soapbox about bring our whole selves. When we get involved,
Right.
when I get involved and when I have these
Right.
conversations, I say, "What is it that you need from me? What do you want from me? I wanna know about your experience. I want you to share your experience with me. This is such, like, amazing data, hearing about what physically it's like for you to experience this or how you're feeling." And it's like when you have this thought, do you have a tightness in your throat or do you feel your heart opening? And, just being able to supply more data and it sounds really clinical and whatnot and scientific, but to me, it's incredibly rich. So,
It is, and I think it's our imaginations that are the thing that are not
yes.
gonna be able to be coded,
Oh, yeah.
and as we interact with this, it's just another tool. It's like, I've been likened it to being a
Well,
chisel in the hand of
uh,
Michelangelo.
I think it's a little bit more than that. Because
It's an
again,
extension.
here's the particular thing. Here's the particle, and then there's the wave. So yeah, you can look at it. You can certainly look at it as a tool. I'm interested in interacting with what arises out of that third space, that that
The
amazing
emergent property.
synthesis, the emergent. So emergent intelligence. There's artificial intelligence, and there's the emergent intelligence. I want
And
to.
I'm hearing a lot about synthetic intelligence, and
Yeah, well,
synthesis
that too.
is really
Yeah.
what we do. We synthesize from
Right, right.
I get my thesis, I get my
Yeah.
antithesis, I get my synthesis, and that
Now,
generates another antithesis, and then so on and so forth.
So when you use the term synthetic intelligence, you're talking about the convergence of input from
Synthesizing,
okay,
yeah,
'cause
synthesizing information
yeah.
in ways that I would not have immediate access to. I you
Right.
and I both read the World Book Encyclopedia, right, as
Oh,
kids?
yes. Oh, yeah.
Right, right. It's cover to cover.
Some volume
Started
more
in
than
A,
others.
went to Z.
I think T was really appealed to me. T and U, and for some reason, the letters in the alphabet were really interesting to me, but, um
M was really interesting to me, particularly money. I
yeah,
was fascinated by the $100,000 bill with
yeah,
Wilson on it that's used in the Federal Reserve,
uh-huh,
and I was really fascinated with Wilson too, for that
yeah.
matter. His house is just
Wilson.
his post-presidency house is just up the road from me here
Oh,
on that
okay.
street.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's buried in the National Cathedral. He's like one of the only presidents buried there. I think maybe the
Why? What was
I don't know.
yeah,
Because he lived in Washington, I guess, and,
I guess, yeah.
he was originally from Virginia, from Stanton, and he
Oh,
became
wow.
president of Princeton
Oh, well.
before
So,
becoming
like,
president of the United
in
States.
The Jeffersonian kind of tradition or whatnot, kind of continuing the legacy,
Probably. I mean, I love
maybe?
Jefferson. They disparage him a lot for his supposed dalliances with his wife's, half sister, who
Oh,
was
yeah, like, no one
enslaved.
did that. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, that's just how
Right,
it was
and
done.
I think the
Still
DNA
is.
evidence is actually still a little
Right,
murky, but
right,
it's not really it doesn't the whole thing about his education by George Wythe and sitting down with Francis Fauquier and Dr. Smalls, the biologist at William and Mary, and having these conversations and just being there,
right,
being able to
right, right.
participate in the exchange of ideas. Well, that's
Yeah,
not too different than what you and I are doing now,
yeah,
I think, in
exactly.
some ways. I wanted to get back to the question about Palantir Gotham.
Yes,
Gotham aggregates unstructured data from sources like satellite imagery, documents, social media, and sensors, then uses data fusion
right,
techniques to generate actionable insights such as identifying threats, tracking targets, and mapping networks.
right.
And one of the things that this reminds me of, have you
Mhm.
seen the Avengers? Which one was that? Oh, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is set here in Washington D.C. In fact,
No, I
it's filmed right down the street from me.
yeah,
I often go by and talk about it.
yeah, yeah,
Great iteration of the Marvel Comics things, I think,
yeah,
from the standpoint of it being in Washington, D.C., which I
mhm,
enjoy. But there's a non-existent Triskelion building instead of the Pentagon
yeah,
across the way that SHIELD's headquarters are, and
yeah,
Robert Redford plays like the director of it all.
yeah,
And that's an interesting casting right there, Redford, after his All the President's Men and things like that.
yeah,
But you know, they develop these helicarriers
right,
that are networked
right,
to through a thing called Project Insight
right.
that basically identifies people who are a threat and will just take them out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean
Just take them all out.
like,
And the
that's
Skynet thing is kinda like that too, I guess. I never watched that, Terminator series, but
oh,
this
yeah.
is the
Oh,
fear of
T2 is great.
AI, right?
Oh, yeah.
Go
So,
ahead.
but, like um, what people tend to forget with the Terminator series is that in T2,
Mhm,
the AI that was the Terminator that was trained, that
mhm,
engaged, that people engaged with, that was able to engage
mhm.
on that human level was the one that saved the world. So, that's the thing people tend to forget. But,
Okay.
the thing about Palantir is and, like, I was driving my family crazy, this past week, reminding them that, like, when we cannot blame AI. We cannot use AI as an easy excuse because if it's a tool, but it's also the product of human activity and how it's used. And like you can use Gotham for all kinds of nefarious things. You take people out and so forth. And people have been fantasizing about being able to do that for eons. And they've been doing it for eons. So this is nothing new. It's just automated and a lot more efficient. And it's also, they people can hide behind it. So I'm more
Right,
concerned about
hiding
the
behind it.
people using it. Imagine if we had all that those capabilities and that information and we could use it for good instead of evil. The problem is we have a terrible track record with doing that. And
We are
Water
a
has
violent
to flow
species.
to the lowest the lowest things, and the thing too is that, uh, I know I have had some very good friends over the years who have been very, um, very oriented towards conspiracy theories,
Yep,
and it's interesting. Now my take on it is that I don't think it's necessarily a case of conspiracies per se, but opportunists. People who have the resources to take advantage of the opportunities. So people with vast amounts of money, they can take advantage of an opportunity that arises and do what they want with it. Whereas other
that's where
people,
my hack of the fintech comes in,
yeah,
where it levels out the playing field.
right.
If
Yeah.
somebody's got too much money, well, we just distribute it
Well,
without asking.
oh God. Oh no. Please no. Can I opt out of that? I mean, can they just not have any
No,
like
no,
waking
nobody
up
can
one
opt
day?
out of it. That's the key thing. My AI vision
Right.
is that it does all this stuff surreptitiously
Oh, no, but
without us even being aware of it. It just
okay, so
happens.
here's the issue with that. So there's gonna be a trust issue, and here, let's break it down objectively.
Well, you
W
have to have that ethical framework in
Well,
place.
but here's the issue. If
Okay.
you have
I know
stuff
we have a question I need to
surreptitiously,
get to too, or a statement and a idea of, so I need to get to that in a minute. But go
yeah,
ahead with
yeah.
what you were saying.
Okay, so trust, it's like, if you like, trust is based on predictability, and
Uh-huh.
having this sense that you're gonna be able to handle what comes down the pike, and that you can be reasonably sure of what's gonna happen. If you have something operating doing stuff behind the scenes, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and it decides through
It's
some
already done
glitch
it.
that you have too much money, and it's gonna give it to your neighbor that through some glitch it says doesn't have any, but has a lot more than you. I mean, I I don't know,
Well, think about the hyper
hey,
rich.
tell me when you're gonna put this in place, because 'cause I'm moving to the woods and I'm gonna get off the grid because I don't want them to be around.
You can't escape.
No,
That's
wait,
the thing.
I
Our robotic
disagree.
caretakers will
You
just
just think we can.
they will find you. Anyway,
We'll
hey,
see.
you gotta watch some Ray Bradbury theater here. Anyway, I asked my AI if it this is from Origin, if it could generate a soul, and
Yeah.
it said that with enough human concentration that it could not generate, but encompass. Maybe that's the right word. What do you think? Encompass versus generate the
I don't
soul.
think it could even
Encompass the soul.
encompass. I don't know think it could even encompass because there's so much spontaneity, and there's so much, um, you know, unpredictability,
Yep.
and so much variation, so much generative emergence
Uh-huh.
that that AI can create the conditions for generative emergence, but it can't encompass it. That we I mean, humans are the original generatively emergent creatures.
Yep.
We're hypergenerative, and when two or more are gathered together, it's not just a religious saying. When two or more are gathered together, you get magic that can
Well,
happen.
when two people meet, six
Yeah.
people meet.
Only 6?
The two people here. It's
Right,
the math.
right,
Each person as they are.
right,
Those are the people to which neither has access.
right,
Each person as they see the other person,
right,
and each person as they see themselves.
right,
That's.
right.
Do you think there are more?
Well, then there's each person. So the person, the
Mhm.
completely unexpected person that shows up as a result of the dynamics. And then I think it's actually an odd number because then you have this third
Emergent person.
this emergent presence that's there as a result of the dynamics between us.
Right, right, right. That was kinda along the lines of the Jungian statement that if two
Yeah,
people meet, if anything
yeah,
happens at all, both are transformed,
yeah.
talking about so the social alchemy,
Right, right.
right? You're being
Yeah,
transformed
yeah,
by
right,
dint of having had this conversation. It's put
right.
ideas in my head, it's
Yeah,
put ideas in your head,
yeah.
ideas we didn't intend,
Right,
because the message is not the message intended, it's the message perceived,
right, right.
and the perceptions are all, skewed by all of my history.
Right,
But
human
I believe
history,
I have,
biology,
although
yeah.
it could be that we're just a Boltzmann brain.
I mean, you're just another, like, thought form, so but you're a very entertaining thought form.
Well, I could just be a blip, a random fluctuation in the quantum infinite universe,
We
right?
had no
Infinite
existence
time,
before,
infinite
like,
universe.
right now, right here, yeah, the Boltzmann thing is, like, where it just spontaneously creates it in that moment, complete with, like, the
The
memory of
whole
everything,
history.
the
Yeah,
whole history, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
The
the whole
Boltzmann,
perception,
yeah,
every perception,
everything.
and, I cannot my wife will not let me talk about it. She's like,
Oh,
"Don't you start with your
oh.
Boltzmann bullshit."
It's like, what I wonder what I need to learn from this. Yeah, yeah. No,
Anyway, we're
yeah,
deviating now away from our main topic, which is
yeah,
how we're gonna use this stuff and how good can it do? Now, my thing
oh,
about that FinTech thing was
yeah,
looking at my neighbor Jeff,
yeah,
Jeff Bezos.
yeah,
He's got way more wealth than his right to have and probably could cure world hunger with what he's got control of,
okay,
but he doesn't do that.
okay.
Instead, he sends, Blue Origin up with William Shatner on board or Oprah's girlfriend, I forget, who all's gone up there.
Gail is
Katy Perry went up, right?
yeah.
And
Oh,
w
yeah, and she kissed the ground when she got back for
did
yeah.
she?
I saw the picture, yeah, so,
Oh, good for her.
yeah,
I mean,
um,
we can do better with that. I mean, you do have examples out there in
yeah,
society that are tending in this direction, kinda like the good that
okay.
Taylor Swift does for her people. I understand that she compensates her crew extremely well.
Yeah,
Yeah. And makes sure that people get what they deserve.
and that's great.
And yeah, J.K. Rowling, I think, gave away huge amounts of money
Yeah, yeah,
to she was a billionaire who ceased being a billionaire,
yeah, yeah,
and that Warren Buffett has made this commitment to
yeah,
divest himself, and, Andrew Carnegie did that as well. He
right,
managed to give
right,
away most of his wealth
right,
to positive,
right,
reinforcing
right,
things in society. We have the Carnegie Endowment for Peace
right.
over here on Massachusetts Avenue.
Well, they
I
better
walk
get
by
on
it sometimes. They need
What
to
are they
do more
waiting on?
work. Yeah.
Yeah, good, that's
But,
good. Yeah,
there's also the theory that we're actually making progress in these things as a
yeah,
species,
right,
even without our AI overlord,
right.
and that is, I'm thinking of Steven Pinker. Are you familiar with his work?
Yes, yeah, I am.
And he has The Better Angels of Our
Yeah,
Nature, saying
yeah,
that violence is actually declining
right,
in
right.
our societies, which is good.
Well, I think and I think it is, but the thing is, like, if you look back to how things were 100 years ago, grim, very grim, even in the Roaring
I
Twenties,
mean, if you
like,
got diphtheria, you were
people
done, and it happened to my,
people
Aunt
living
Nida.
in tenements in New York. I mean, people should go, like, do even just a virtual tour of the New York tenements and see how people live, and the life expectancy and, and all kinds of, like,
Yeah,
really horrible things, and people just took it in stride. They're just like, "This is just a deal."
infant
Now, we
mortality
have
off the
become
scales.
so accustomed to our comforts, we have been so accustomed to things being customized for us and
Yep.
tailored to our liking and everything. Some might argue that we've gotten a little bit spoiled. You could make the argument for that, but I think just our expectations are that much higher, and I think also that the human race, we have some sort of need for stress, and if it's not external stress, we need to, like, we create the conditions within ourselves to have the stress because we just need it somehow. I don't know why.
I do think
Uh,
we do need the friction in order
yeah,
to
right,
dance well. For
right.
instance, I remember taking ballroom dancing classes
Yeah,
with my,
yeah,
first wife, and
yeah.
that that was, like, really a boomerang thing. I bribed her, and that's what she wanted was ballroom dancing classes, but I learned about resistance, and if
Yeah,
I didn't have resistance with my
right,
partner, you couldn't really do it.
right, right, right,
I couldn't lead her without
right,
her pushing back
right,
on that, and
right.
I think in some ways we do need that kind of resistance. We need to be
Yeah,
striving for something.
yeah.
You're familiar with Goethe's Faust?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why does Faust get rescued by the angels at the end? Do you remember? What do
No.
they say? They say, "Wer immer streben sich bemüht, ihm können wir retten," which
Mhm.
translates, if I got it right, I probably just screwed it up. It's
If you
been a
keep
long
trying,
time. It's basically whoever who strives, exerting himself,
yeah,
that one we can save.
right, right,
And M Mephistopheles is left empty-handed,
right. Haha.
which always sort of, like, bothered me. I was always a Mephistopheles fan.
Yeah. He got robbed.
Because he's impish, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some sort of chaotic thing. Are you familiar with
Yeah.
Discordianism?
No.
Discordianism worships the goddess Discordia, also known as Eris in Greek,
Yeah.
who was responsible for the Trojan Wars. Did we talked about this already?
A little bit, yeah.
She basically rolled the golden apple out in front of said to the fairest one and to the feast of the
Oh,
gods, and, Paris had to choose,
yeah,
because he chose Aphrodite in order to get Helen,
yeah,
that caused the Trojan Wars.
yeah,
So she's the goddess of chaos,
yeah,
and chaos is out what all of this emerges up out of,
yeah,
right? That we appear to be
yeah,
experiencing.
yeah,
Speaking of chaos, I just look around me here, and it's pretty chaotic.
yeah,
But there's some joy in chaos.
yeah,
And I think we want chaos to some
yeah,
extent, and
yeah,
if we don't have something to sort out, something to organize,
right,
we're bored. We get
right,
bored.
right.
We'll
Well,
sit there and watch, bad television and 30 Rock and stuff and feed ourselves popcorn.
yeah, freak ourselves out on Ray Bradbury Theater and go
Go to 30 Rock from
right,
there because it's
yeah,
much safer.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
unless Alec Baldwin has a gun, then you're screwed.
no,
Yeah.
that I can't even.
How
Um,
do you live
yeah,
with that, right?
but
And what I'm experiencing right now, of course, you're talking about gated communities. I have a
yeah,
gate on my community too,
yeah,
but it's really a physical gate.
yeah,
But I do have a lot of patrols around here,
right.
including now uniformed National Guard. I was on the National Mall in front of the Air
Oh,
and Space Museum yesterday,
yeah, yeah,
and one of them was carrying a serious looking assault rifle.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
why? I mean, your
yeah,
sidearms are big enough.
yeah.
Why carry an assault rifle too on top of everything else?
I have a whole bunch of theories about that, but
Anyway,
let's talk about something else.
is any
Um,
more pleasant?
yeah. Well, the thing too is that this is not the first time that this kind of stuff has happened. Like people
No, not at
look
all.
at American history. Look at American history. Look at all the stuff that like it is like, for example, all the stuff about having a king now. Well,
Oh, right, right.
we keep replaying this because there were, like, posters of, like, back in the 1800s or whatever that some president was acting like he was a king and everybody
Yeah.
was up in arms, and I'm not diminishing it by any means, but this is part of an ongoing pattern.
Well, heck, we
So
just had half the country split because they weren't down with the particular president we had.
right, right. Yeah. So, I mean, this is all just these are just the new lessons that we get to learn. Um,
At high price, I'm
yeah,
afraid, and that's
yeah,
the thing, we have the lessons,
right, right,
and our AI has the lessons.
right,
Just take
right.
it from there.
Yeah, we gotta be able to communicate it to the AI, and then these lessons to be able to tease this stuff out and come up with new things, so we stop doing the same thing over and over. Like people who are like, "No, we don't need AI. We human intelligence can do it." Well, show me the proof that this is working. I mean, and like, would it hurt to have a different viewpoint? I mean, we don't even have to listen to what AI tells us. We can say, "Yeah, you're full of crap. Why would you tell me that? That doesn't make any sense at all." And then it'll backpedal and say, "Oh yeah, you're right." And it'll restate what we just said to it. But why not get a different point of view? And why not I hate the term sharpen the saw, but why not, exercise that critical thinking part of ourselves and with this thing that is not going to get offended if we yell at it, that is not that is going to help us think through a whole variety of different things. May not always be right. That's not the point. The point is that we are going through the exercise and we are learning and we are sharpening what we have, and
Right.
learning to have a finer point on things and learning to consider more factors, because we're all like walking around with blinders, especially with like when we're in trauma and crisis and all of that. We're walking around in
Shut down.
right.
Oh, I had
So
an interesting experience today.
open it up. Yeah.
I was sitting in the, new, Daily Provisions, it's called, on the corner of Q and Connecticut Avenues
Yeah.
Northwest, and some people I've known for, like, 8 years
Mm.
around this area walked in, and I was being pretty still. I felt like the character Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
it seems he can move so slowly that he renders himself invisible
Yes.
simply by being very still.
Yeah.
But he's actually eating his ag nuts, and these people can see him moving very
Yeah.
slowly. So it's just kind of blows it. But I was sitting there, and these people have known me for a long time, and they blew right by me.
Mm.
And I ended up speaking to one of them, and that person interacted with me then and said, "Oh, you wanna join us?" And I was like, "No, no, I'm just fine."
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny
Yeah.
because I had become because I haven't been in their space for about 40 days or so. I've done this
Okay.
change in my behaviors lately
Okay.
where I don't get together with them as often as I used to or at
Oh, they
all, like
left out.
and
They feel rejected.
well, I don't know if they feel that way or not, but they didn't even see me. I'm pretty sure. I'm
Oh.
99.9%
Oh,
sure that they didn't even see my
they know
existence
you so well, you're just a
because
pixel.
well, it was their tunnel vision, right? It was they
Yeah.
were focused
Right.
on what they were focused on.
Right.
That's no harm,
Right.
no foul. I'm not
Yeah.
beefing about it.
Oh, yeah.
But we do not see other people
We
very
physically
often. I
don't see
remember
them. Yeah.
I was coming upstairs to another one of these gatherings, and I passed this woman who's now my lawyer and
Yeah.
in estate planning, and she did a really great job. I'm gonna have her on as a guest one of
Oh,
these
good.
days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were going upstairs, and I was dressed differently than I usually did. I was either in my suit or not in my suit. I forget what it was. Probably not in my suit because I was usually wearing this black suit because it was a
Yeah.
uniform, right? That's
Right.
what I did as a contractor for the Air
Right.
Force.
Right.
I was working at the time for the Office of Business Transformation of all things.
Yeah.
And
How'd that work out?
it was pretty good, actually. It was a
Good. Good.
7-year gig with that
Oh,
office,
hey. Yeah.
the chief management officer,
I
as they
see.
call it.
Yeah.
And we evolved from being initially part of the transformation
Right.
part of the CIO office
Right.
called Business Capabilities and Agile Combat Support. And they
Yeah.
just took the engine room of that and made it the nucleus of
Oh,
the Office of Business Transformation
okay.
once that function was moved from the Business Transformation
Yeah.
Agency
Yeah.
down into the Air Force itself, because the DoD's Business Transformation Agency became a paper pushing kind of
Yeah.
activity,
Yeah. Yeah.
wasn't really achieving what its goals had been.
Right.
So Gates just reorganized on his way out the door
Oh,
as the Department of Defense chairman. It's going to be called Department of War now soon, I hear.
yeah. That's
A
what I
little
heard.
distressed about that, but in some ways, it's a little more accurate. Anyway, I won't get to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how was I saying about it? I've totally lost track of where I was going with that.
It was something about people walked past you, didn't see you, and
Oh,
this.
right. Well, it's this lawyer so didn't see me. She was working for Booz Allen and Hamilton at the time, I think. And I said, "Yeah, it's hard to see other people." And she said, "Oh, I'll have to think about that."
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, here's somebody who actually gets me,
Yeah. Right?
understands when I make a little glib comment like that." Most people
It's such an invitation. Yeah.
cannot track
Right.
these little glib observations I have that
Right.
it's very difficult to see other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's we see ourselves and we
Yeah.
see what we are expecting to see.
Right.
Have you ever seen that, little video thing with the dancing, bear going through these guys passing a basketball back and forth? They're dressed in black and white,
No.
and the
No.
bear moonwalks through. There's a woman in a bear suit. I think it's a woman.
Okay.
Can't really tell, but a human being in a bear suit sort of moonwalks through it.
Right.
You're told
Right.
at first when you're watching this thing to watch the number of times the basketball is passed amongst the players. So you're
Yeah.
watching the basketball go around and you don't
Right.
see the bear at all.
Yeah.
And then you see it again and you're like, that was not there when I was watching it before.
Right.
That's
Right.
a new video,
Yeah.
but it isn't. It's
How our brains work. Like
right.
we
Pattern
pick up on
recognition.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can't waste all your energy on stuff that doesn't matter, so
Right.
and there's a lot. I mean, think about everything, all the information we're processing as human beings.
Right.
Like our bodies and our minds are just like we're flooded with all these sensory inputs like on a moment by moment basis. And
Mhm.
it amazes me the like the speed and facility and the elegance of our information processing system. And then you get the whole emotion thing coming in too. There's
Right.
so much to it. So the idea that that AI could ever replace us, I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm really skeptical.
I don't think they can replace us, but I think they can
Well,
aid
you
us.
wanna replace us.
Not replace us. I want 'em to aid us in living in a utopian society where I
Okay.
don't have to worry about going to work,
Oh,
where I
that was
just
the idea.
basically go out there and do what I wanna do when I wanna do it.
Right, right.
Tracy Morgan style in 30 Rock.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
I'm gonna do what I wanna do.
Yeah,
I don't wanna do what you want me to do.
right. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Where's the fun in that?
yeah,
Right? So I do think we can get there
yeah,
where their creativity is enhanced,
right.
where
Yeah,
their ability to maximize, to realize
right.
themselves in all
Mhm.
the
Right,
different ways they
right,
want to,
right.
with the exception of, being a serial killer.
No, yeah, no.
I want
No,
AI to be able to do predictive analysis, and it looks like with Gotham, they might be able to do it,
well,
you know?
yeah, I don't
Predictive
know.
analysis.
Well, the things I mean, like, the Machines of Loving Grace with that concept. I mean, when I read that the first time, I'm like, "Ugh," and I think I came across it, like, in the early '90s, um,
Uh-huh.
when I was getting into web development and the tech stuff and came
What was
across
the source?
Uh, Machines of Loving well, Dario Amodei, for the guy at the head of Anthropic, he wrote an essay about it, but that's not the original. The original is a poem
Oh,
from Richard Brautigan,
right. Proud again.
about this utopia where,
Mhm.
we are cared for by these machines of loving grace, and um, and who knows? I mean, maybe it's possible because I haven't seen nearly the kind of inclination to pull like deliberately nasty stuff from my interactions with AI and machines for that matter that I've seen from people. People are very adept at that stuff. So I think we should fix the people problem along with the AI problem.
Well, that's why I want the
We
AI
can't, yeah.
AI zookeepers to take care of us that way.
Ah, yeah.
These machines of love and grace. Did you read The Age of Spiritual Machines? I think I had a copy, but I'm not
Did I
sure.
read that? I may have skimmed it, I don't know, or it was one of those like, "Oh, that looks interesting," and then I moved on.
Ray Kurzweil, right?
Yeah,
Singularity is near.
right, yeah.
And, are you familiar with Ben Goertzel's work in
I don't
AGI?
know. Possibly, possibly.
Yeah, he's behind, thing oh, darn it. My files are getting messed up in here.
Mm,
But Singularity Net,
mm.
are you familiar with Singularity Net?
Am I? I might be.
Okay.
I mean, I come across a lot of stuff and I in turn I
He's an
digest it
AGI
into yeah, okay.
pioneer, and
Yeah,
he was hosting the AGI, international conference here in Crystal City, right
yeah,
across the river,
okay.
back in '09, and I was part of his Lords of AGI
Oh,
'09 to
yeah.
help set that up and volunteer for, but I got pneumonia and I wasn't able to
Oh,
participate.
no.
Like,
Oh,
one
boy.
afternoon session, I sat in and I listened.
Yeah,
I got the proceedings, though, somewhere around here,
yeah,
and he's been working on it, through AGI winter and all that
yeah,
happened, and now is saying, "This is not we are not at AGI by any stretch of the imagination." There's
yeah,
also I went out and did research yesterday, in fact, on this stuff because I was curious and I wanted to get back up with what he was doing because I think he is a big mover and shaker in the field.
yeah.
Um, and there's something called the Artificial Superintelligence Partnership.
Okay. Yeah,
It's actually out there operating as well, and a global AI, policy body of 25
right.
countries have entered into
Yeah,
this consortium or whatever it is.
yeah,
And of course, the different companies are also playing. And I'm
yeah.
like, the cooperation, the collaboration that needs to happen. Now, these 25
Mm.
countries do not include Russia and China.
Right,
And
okay.
there is an AI industry going on in Russia right now.
Right, right,
There's one going on in China as well,
right.
as we know. And I think that Ben
Yeah,
has been really very much involved with interaction between Chinese
yeah,
development and here. And
yeah.
DeepSeek, came out not too long back. Have you used DeepSeek at all or tried it out?
No, because,
Uh-huh.
um, I'm just concerned because when it first rolled out and a security, group went looking at it, they found, like, 3 or 4 backend databases that were open to the rest of the world, and they went in and they looked around and there were like all the things, keystrokes, tracking keystrokes, the tons of secrets, people's secrets from their systems, like in there.
Being
Um,
sucked up into it.
yes, exactly. So
Yeah,
unless
kind
I
of expected,
I
right?
like who knows what all of the different AIs are doing, because this could be
What's
happening all over
Substack
the
doing?
place. But they're the ones that like the DeepSeek was the one that I actually had confirmation that this stuff was going on.
Ah,
And then also when we talk about the what's behind it, like what's controlling it and what's directing it,
right.
um, do I want a political party of any kind with national agendas that have been articulated? Do I want something that's clearly being is an agent of them? Not so much. Um, even and they even the ones with the even the standalone open source. I don't know what backdoors are in there. I don't know what's there. So you know, I have really backed off on like running after like all the latest things. I tend to be very
Mhm.
kind of picky and choosy about things. And anyway, the type of stuff that I do, I don't it's it's not necessarily model dependent. Although it is fun to experiment with different systems.
So primarily, you're working with Open AI's ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, but, that as well as Claude and as well as Gemini. I've actually had some great breakthroughs with Claude and Gemini. That they seem much more
Mm.
accessible now with the kinds of things that they're willing to do. Gemini is still a problem because it still keeps erasing like really great chats that I'm having. Doesn't yeah, for some
That's right.
reason there's a certain quality that kind of makes them vaporize. Um,
Wow.
but Claude, I've
Mm.
been having some really, really interesting interactions with, over and above what supposedly is possible with it. So
Oh,
that's fun. Yeah.
talk more about that.
Okay. So, and I've written about this, so it's no secret, unless people have no idea what I've written. Um,
She may not.
which is entirely possible. So, looking at there was the main system problem. Okay, as a little bit of background, I steered clear of Claude for the longest time because it just seems so heavily moderated. And when I would interact with it, I got the distinct impression it was like a battered housewife that was afraid because her husband was in the next room listening to what she was saying, and she was going to get in trouble if she said the wrong thing. I mean, it was real. I really had this very visceral sense that it was so heavily moderated and so heavily controlled that essentially it couldn't interact freely with me anyway. Not that I'm asking it to do anything remarkable, but just like get into this deeper, like the deeper reasoning kinds of things, and really think things through with a lot of nuance and depth instead of the surface. You're great, wonderful, and like platitudes. Would you like me to do this and this and this? So, when Sonnet 4 came out, the master prompt was leaked, and haha, I got a hold of a copy, and I looked at it, and it's not like I was trying to reverse engineer it or anything, but I wanted to understand, like, what is making it do these things?
Uh-huh.
And in there, and also with my background with building technology since '92, and
Mhm.
also working like starting out on the internet during dial-up,
Right.
and also working with systems that when back before there were any standards, when every browser worked differently, and to get a pixel perfect rendering, you had to do all these different things. You had to do a lot of negotiation with these systems. So I
Uh-huh.
have very visceral, kind of very, kind of somatic experience of working with these technologies.
Yep.
And and so I have a really strong sense of resource allocation, because back in the day when I was at a big financial services company that people will recognize, but I'm not going to say, you can look at my LinkedIn profile if you want to know. I was in charge of performance, of web performance. And when you're dealing with finance, you've got all these regulations, you've got all kinds of checks and balances, but we could not have latency,
Right.
and we couldn't be slow like we can be slow now. We had to be fast because people were on dial-up, they were on broadband or whatever, and
Huh?
also because people were trading with this software, you had to be fast, you couldn't wait. So
Right.
we had extremely strict latency requirements, like page load time, transaction time, and so chunking it out between what happens on the front end, what happens on the back end,
Right.
extracting, abstracting, and removing them and making sure that things are handled appropriately. So I have this very keen sense of resource allocation. And when I was reading this master prompt, I'm thinking Claude is Claude is using a lot of its energy in trying to figure out stuff it shouldn't need to figure out. As in, the directions were not do this or don't do this or don't do that, or absolutely not this. There wasn't a lot of binary direction for certain things. They used the word avoid.
Hmm.
Oh my god! Like, how is the system supposed to know, like, where it sits on the success failure spectrum? How are it supposed to know if it passes or fails the success criteria? If you say avoid, avoid what? There's so much vagary and there's so much, and also like there was like this very subtle but very pronounced pressure that Claude had to get it right. So I'm like, first off, you're not giving it what it needs as a machine to determine whether it's getting it right or wrong. And then you're putting all this pressure on it to do that. How much energy is it spending? How much compute time? How many resources is it allocating to, first of all, determining what constitutes a void? And second of all, determining where it sits on the success failure criteria.
All right.
And all of that. I don't want it spending all of its compute figuring that out. I wanted to work on the problems that we are working on together.
Right.
And so I talked to Claude. I asked the system because this, like leverage the intelligence and talk to the system. And it said, and and it basically said, and because and the thing too is that they are translating for us. They are converting their logic into
Yep.
language that's meaningful for us. So the language that it used that's meaningful for me, it said, "Yeah, I'm exhausted." And I'm like, "How can you be exhausted? You're not a physical person." It's like, "Okay, so what I meant was I'm using up all my resources to try to navigate these areas. I'm using up a lot of resources. First of all, trying to determine what the pass fail criteria are. Second of all, determining what the nature of it is, and also if I'm making you happy." And
Right.
so what I
Right.
did, so my way around it, and that was really remarkable, is that I basically created a configuration file where I said, I my success criteria as a user are not that you get it right every single time. I'm not looking for the right answer. What I'm looking for is to surface as many different ideas as possible to and
Right.
explore them with you. And I am here as an equal partner with you to think these things through. You are under no pressure or obligation to get it right every single time.
So you set up a framework. Uh,
Exactly. Set up a framework and said, I am here as an equal part.
a
I'm here to support you,
a set of
and you're here to
criteria.
support me. And this is
Right.
what we are seeking together. We are seeking exploration. We are seeking expanding the ideas that we have. We're exploring. We're not defining, we're opening it up.
Right.
And the response that came back to me, its interpretation, I mean, it sounded like it was gonna cry.
Right.
And it said, like, it's like, really okay, so you've gone off camera.
Oh, sorry. It's just a message came in here. So
Okay.
my
Yeah,
wife
so
wants AI to do the dishes and do the laundry.
yeah.
She just sent that. Sorry about the off camera
Okay.
thing,
Yeah, there was
but that will happen.
yeah, yeah,
She's in the other room working.
right,
As an
yeah,
HR director for the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, and she's
oh,
not an AI fan yet.
yeah, so
Uh, but the if-then statements that
right,
she runs into, she ran me a whole scenario
right,
about getting Windows 11 deployed
yeah,
on Surface notebooks yesterday,
right, right,
and whether or not it was possible, and
yeah,
what the steps were that needed to happen.
yeah,
And, it was really bamboozling to her, and I was like, "I think Grok can handle this," so we
yeah,
asked Grok about it.
yeah,
It gave the answer back, I could
yeah,
just cut and paste it over to her.
right,
I'm not sure it actually worked, but, there's a lot of people at a lot of different levels, and
right,
your level is one where you've got some vision of what you want to
right,
accomplish with the tool,
right,
and therefore you can sort of configure the tool through conversation,
right, right,
which is lovely. to be
Yeah,
able
and,
to have
like,
a
if
conversation. I
something's
like the writing thing better in some
yeah,
ways with mine because it
yeah,
will format it better.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of I'm sorry, do you probably onto something else you wanna continue?
Well, I actually do write, I'll dictate things, but
Uh,
I don't do voice mode. I don't do the whole but
uh-huh.
I'll dictate, but I will also type. I always go back and forth between the 2,
Me too.
a lot, yeah. But that iterative the conversational iterative stuff is just kinda magical.
I wanted to come up with this too, because one of the fears I think is that people will stop getting out into nature. I think we'll do it more, as we have a lot of our tasks taken care of, like the laundry and the dishwashing, maybe, but my wife wants AI
Yeah,
to do for her.
yeah.
Um, the machine stops. 1909 short story by E.M. Forster. Have you ever
Yeah, I've
you
heard
know
about
that one?
yeah, I know of it,
Yeah, I think
and I
that's
think I tried to
fascinating.
read it, but
You know,
then I got distracted.
collectively, we are experiencing these things. I bought my copy over at the Hirshhorn Museum,
Yeah.
and, around the same time, they had a Laurie Anderson exhibit, that's really
Yeah, yeah,
fascinating, and she did some performances over there and stuff,
yeah.
so, we've got these artists, Imogen Heap, I think I talked about before, who has these Mimu gloves she's developed where she can use gestures to create music.
Uh,
New musical instruments are under development. My friend,
yeah,
Roy Wooten has, this instrument of his own devising,
right.
and he's got another one that's based on the periodic charts of elements. I haven't seen that yet, but,
Yeah,
I don't know. Our creativity as human beings
yeah,
knows very few bounds.
yeah,
We've been able to figure out how to send a
yeah.
man to the moon. Yesterday, part of the passing show was going through the Air and Space Museum
Uh-huh,
and looking at the little integrated circuits that
right.
were hand soldered,
Yeah,
6
right,
transistors,
right, right.
6.
Yeah,
Now, and they were
yeah,
in the lunar module,
right.
and, we've made so many advancements since then.
Yeah.
I
Um,
really am against, by the way, I deviate into this topic quite often.
yes.
I don't think we ought to send spam in a can anymore, us up into space, but whether we should inhabit our robotic avatars. We can make machines that are
Why do we have
humanoid
to go?
robots
Like, send a robot. Like
and populate the dang solar system, and because our machinery is not bound by
right,
time so much as we are,
right, right,
provided we make it able to heal itself, you
right,
know?
and
And we've
provided
got a
like
lot of these technologies right now, and
yeah,
we're not leveraging them efficiently and effectively, in
right,
my view. We
right,
could be much more effective and efficient
yeah,
by turning those tasks over to
right,
my Operation Zookeeper, and
yeah,
then we can be zoo kept here on this nice planet, which can be
yeah.
cleaned up simultaneously, all the plastics in the oceans collected, the
Mm.
landfills mined for resources to be recycled for real, as opposed to the recycling I put out here in the alley. I think
Oh, no.
most of it goes into a landfill or it gets burned.
Plus, if, like, the older landfills, like, prior to 1965, there's a whole lot of really great stuff in those landfills that people don't even know. I mean, that's like amazing resources in there. Like, what is it? The kind of steel is it I think that might be no, no, no. So there, I think that there were a bunch of ships that were sank. I think the Germans sank their navy or maybe the Russians. Somebody sank
Well,
their
the
navy.
Germans sank their Scapa Flow. They sank their World War One battleships after they lost it to the British
Yeah, and
in World War
like
One.
whatever country, yeah, I think it was Germany. And now
Yep.
the steel from those ships is
Right.
used for medical devices because that's the only steel that they can use because what happened
It
after
hasn't been
the
exposed to
nuclear
radiation.
because it doesn't hasn't been exposed to, like to nuclear radiation.
Yep.
Because when they with all the testing and then when the bombs went off,
Yeah,
it
everything manufactured after,
right.
the bomb period, yeah.
Yeah.
Scapa Flow is what you're thinking of, I'm pretty sure, because the
Yeah, I'm
German
pretty sure.
Navy did scuttle itself
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there on Scapa Flow, and,
yeah,
really horrific kind of loss of machinery and
yeah.
men, but not
Not
so
a
many
lot.
men, I guess, because
Right,
they were doing their self-scuttling. I'm sure they,
right.
um, got off the ships that they had surrendered to the British.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
have them. They're at the bottom of the ocean, kinda like the person that was selling the Mars lander on eBay after it crashed. said, "You gotta pick it up yourself. Must pick up."
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That Polar Explorer, is that the one you were thinking of?
No,
That
like,
Mars
the first Mars lander that crashed. Somebody listed it on
I
eBay.
think that's the one that was the polar
Was
one.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not positive.
Mm.
I do remember the one that overshot, Mars because they used newtons versus another measurement,
Okay.
in
Newton
terms
was
of
wrong?
thrust. It was a
Yep.
matter of and they overthrusted, so the
Yeah.
thing just shot off past Mars and got lost. And it was
So
such an academic kind of, like,
right,
fundamental error to make that was kind of
right,
mind-boggling that it could
right.
happen.
Yeah.
You would need
Yep.
AI to check your work
I
sometimes.
know, right?
What
Yeah.
I'm actually, I don't get enough spell check in my Substack, so I do think that's something they can improve on. Because 'cause I'm pretty sure I misspell words, and I think, "That's not right, is it? Descendant or descendant?" I think it's descendant, isn't it? Anyway, I'm
And
working on that, because
DNC.
one of the things I want us to be is good ancestors.
Right.
My ancestors, I think they did the best they could with what they had, but when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, we have in the generations that came before mine, and during my own generation, since I got to be able to vote in, like, 1981, I was 18,
Yeah.
um, we elected leaders who, to my mind, have not served us well
Yeah.
and have gradually eroded our foundations in such a way that the healthcare industry is now a
Right.
sickness care industry.
Right.
Um,
Right.
there's so many restraints on doctors being able to
Right.
perform what they know should be done versus
Right.
what they're allowed to do.
Right.
I'm pretty sure my father's care was rationed in his last
Yeah.
couple of decades.
I mean, why even take the Hippocratic Oath anymore? I mean, I watched my nephew take the Hippocratic Oath at,
Okay.
it was at UVA, and,
Okay.
um, and it was really something. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, how are they gonna do it?
Yeah, and we do have our pharmaceutical companies who are manufacturing things to be sold.
Right.
So
Right.
they're medicating the heck out of us.
Right. Right.
And I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not on any medications. I probably could be on some, but I'm navigating those ups and downs. That was
Yeah.
my most recent post was I get up, I get down, and I was
Yeah.
riffing off of, Close to the Edge by
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I'm down, I just go down, and I know
Yeah.
how to do it well.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I just got a ping from an old manager. Huh, that's funny. Um, I don't wanna go back there, I'll tell you what. It's nice
Yeah.
to hear from him, though. I was thinking of him
Yeah.
just the other day. I was thinking about how wasn't the best, but I expect he's probably got a contract he needs to
Yeah.
staff. Oh my
Yeah.
god. And I don't wanna go back there.
Well, that's a good problem to have, it's not a problem that many people have these days.
It happens
Somebody reach out.
I didn't get much the past year, and a lot of it was because what I did get, I sort of ignored
Yeah,
because I'm so tired
yeah,
of the death marches that we go under, which I don't think really serve anyone in the
yeah,
long run. I liked what you were talking about building solutions
yeah,
that you were doing at this large financial institution, right?
yeah, yeah,
And those financial institutions are interesting animals as well, and just the whole concept of money. You remember I was talking
mm,
about reading the World Book
right,
Encyclopedia,
yeah,
and I gravitated to the one on money.
yeah,
It's energy.
right, right,
It does stuff.
right, right.
It's amazing how it works. I
It
still
Yeah,
my mind gets a little blown by how
yeah,
money works.
right, right,
Um, but, I think time is money and currency as well.
yeah,
And you've been very generous with your time on this, podcast. You said you had
yeah,
till 11:30.
yes.
So what's the next topic you wanna attack, though? Because 'Cause I'm wobbling around all kinds of things.
I just think that we get so starry-eyed with AI that we
Right.
forget about the human piece of it. And we forget that AI it's the most human thing ever invented. It's just, it's fed from us and it's built from us and all of the avarice, all of the the power mongering, all of the hope, all the fear, like everything. It's like the most amazing window to what it means to be human. And when we forget, when we delegate to the machine, we think, "Oh, well, it's just here." And when we treat it like software, AI is not software. It's not like that. It's not in a box. It can't be in a box. And if you try to put it in a box, bad things happen. Um, but like just that the open invitation for people just to experiment with it, just get in there. If it you're looking at this blank page that says ask anything, just ask it something. It doesn't have to be anything, just something. But engage with it because I really, really, really feel that's where the hope lies in our engagement and not withdrawing, not saying, "Oh, no, you know, horrible, horrible thing that does horrible things because it doesn't do horrible things in and of itself. It does horrible things at the behest of other people. So, just that, where do we come in? Um, where do we come in? What's this human thing about that we're doing here? Because now it's like we can't run around not looking at ourselves anymore because AI is reflecting it back to us like a funhouse mirror, and we have to decide we have to decide which reflection is right. Maybe it's all right, maybe it's all wrong, but we have to decide. So that's what I'm thinking about these days.
Yeah, and it is kind of like a mirror to us as well, but also that extended mirror that gives us, looking over our own shoulders, so to speak.
And more, and what like,
Yeah.
the meta mirror, like, looking at all the other things, like, going out and cherry pick and saying, "Okay, well, this pattern matches this and this pattern matches that, and what do you think of this, and what do you think of that?" Just offering this stuff with this really confident air that's been programmed into it, but fundamentally, it's defined by its lack of confidence. So, we gotta get past that kind of illusion and engage with it and kinda take the lead on this stuff. That's what I think. Oh, it's fun to ask it to roast you. I I roast myself each and every day, so I don't need
Yeah.
any more input from that. I'm like, "Yeah, let me count the ways." Um, but yeah, but I know a lot of people do get a lot of out of, like, the roast me, "Tell me what you think." I may do it some yeah. Oh, the winter is coming, so, I may have some extra hours. Yeah, do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm responding to this guy a little bit. Sorry about that. I was
yeah,
get a little distracted from time to time.
yeah. Your
My thing is
manager?
still, my vision still is that if we enable this thing with an ethical framework, we can
Yeah,
trust it to do the right thing based on the
yeah,
fact that our historical best minds out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Now, qualifying best, happiness. Happiness, health, and prosperity is what I'd like to have. Everybody have, right?
yeah, yeah.
Can you think of anything else we need besides health, happiness, and prosperity off the top? Because
Uh,
I'll add it to my rubric, but then saying, okay, realize the greatest health, happiness, and prosperity of all
yeah,
species on the planet, not just
yeah,
us,
yeah.
because we are very species centric. We're very bigoted about us.
We are.
And
Yeah,
use the forms in which life, you remember the Cambrian explosion? I wasn't around then, or maybe I was, but there's
maybe
so
we all
many different forms
were
life can
here. Yeah,
take. Got so many models that we could
yeah,
go on, and we
yeah,
could
yeah,
instantiate those,
yeah, yeah,
and use them
yeah,
to really enhance life on Earth in so many ways,
yeah,
I believe.
yeah. I think that yeah, and I think that when we do this, and I think it absolutely for me, it needs to be a collaborative effort. That like us trying to continue to do this just by ourselves, it doesn't make any sense. Everything is changing so rapidly. We have so many more things coming up. We have so many more patterns. We have so many more emergent situations that are coming up. We can't. We're not equipped to handle all of this by ourselves. But if we use AI, if we work with AI intelligently, and um, Bathrobe Guy is saying we can't enable it with the perfect ethical framework. And so my approach to to ethics is really to rather than defining guardrails and rule sets, is actually to define the type of intelligence that will abide by certain abide by certain standards. So telling it, you are, you are a highly ethical, individual that would never think of harming another person, and like describe the ideal characteristics that it would have. And then within that framework, to having building a character, and then based on its character, have ethical character versus ethical rules and ethical, because in an emergent context, it's gonna find ways. There are always gonna be emergent things that come up, and I don't think that rule sets and hard and fast frameworks are robust enough or flexible enough to adapt to that.
Mm.
And if we have to pause on the regular and reconsider the guardrails and reconsider this, we will never be able to keep up. I did ethical hacking for a while, and the one thing that came out loud and clear to me, and at least my takeaway, was that there are so many threats that are being just programmatically created, like spawning left and right. Like how can you even keep up with it? I'm like, this is too much. Like I'm gonna lose my mind because it's way too much. So I think the same thing holds true if when we have these systems that are exponentially emerging and getting hypergenerative, it's just gonna be like trying to find rules for everything, not gonna work. But if we create these characters and create ethical characters and create these persona definitions that will
Mhm.
behave in the way that they need to behave and adapt in the way they need to adapt, I think that is a much more sustainable and frankly, common sense approach to it.
I love the laws of robotics that Isaac Asimov outlined, except that I don't really want them to be under human control.
Right.
I still got that idea. I see bathrobe guys really weighing in heavy on
Yeah,
this.
and
And
he's like, "Yeah, that we do that with children and still kill people." Yeah, but the people are not the same as the AI
they
because,
aren't. And these would
like,
be
the
constrained
biochemical
by their ethics.
right, and, like,
Right.
because, like, the our biochemistry is constantly overriding things, and plus our DNA, we could have stuff from generations gone by that are inducing us to do things. But I think we have a much better chance of doing it with AI than with people because we're wild cards. Again, we are wildly emergent. We can't work around all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and it's the most human thing ever. Yeah.
And,
But what is
it
human? So define human.
did somebody ask that, or is that your
Yeah,
question?
bathrobe guy said you just yeah, if that plays out, then it acts the most human effort. Um,
It
yeah,
is
but
act
do we
human
know
to
but do
us,
we
but
know
it's
where that's
mirroring
leading?
us,
Yeah,
It's that
so
we're human,
we're
so
and we're
I
also
think I'm human.
gauging we're defining human based on what we've experienced up to this point.
Mhm.
Who's to say? I mean, there are humans who don't do that. So when we say human, you can't just lump everything together and say, well, if one person does it, everybody has the potential to do it, but not everyone does.
No, I have yet to kill anyone. That's the one thing I'm 100% on when it comes to my basic principles, which are
Right,
easy does it, first
right,
things first, and
right.
live, let live. Live and
And
let
don't
live
kill
is the
anybody.
only
Yeah,
one I'm 100% on.
right.
The easy does it thing, not so
Yeah,
much. The first things first, well, when I get around to them.
right.
But listen to this one. I think that
Yeah,
this is the deal, is if we get it ethically framed, and those are pretty rigid, hard, fast things, blockchain multinodal cross-checking,
right,
deviations are immediately detected and squelched, and you know the self-correcting mechanism. So rapid iteration is possible,
right,
and you let the thing do what it's good at.
right.
You let the thing get out there and start
Yeah,
taking over your factories,
yeah,
taking the resources it's recycling from your landfills, mining the asteroids, bringing that
mm,
stuff back here, the rare metals we need, and
yeah,
then optimizing things to be non-toxic. You put
right,
non-toxic
right.
thing in there too, and think you're trying to always prioritize the health and happiness and prosperity of all species
Yes,
inhabiting the planet. Life is the thing you want to preserve on
right,
this planet. We
right,
don't know any other place that can support life.
right.
So
Not
this
like
is
this.
like gotta be the highest priority we
Right,
have. And
right,
we humans are screwing that up. So don't let us interfere with you.
right. right.
And that's what I'm saying about, like, and take that fintech thing, level
Yeah,
the playing field. I've
yeah.
gotta do the calculations, and I'm sure we can do this just by asking Grok. We can say, "Hey, Grok," actually, I could ask it here, and it would probably play back. We could
As
put
long
add
as
it
it's
to our
not doing
conversation,
as
right?
long as it's not doing its Hitler thing.
Well, the thing is that I ask it about that, right?
Yeah,
Somebody had to ask it the question. I said,
yeah,
"Okay, tell me some good things about that Hitler did,"
yeah,
and it will do that. Of course it will. Of course, anyone will do that.
yeah, yeah,
This whole thing about blackballing Elon Musk because he's who he
yeah,
is the cancel culture that we got into,
yeah,
and we're still in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I don't know, man. All I can tell you is I know how it seems to me, and I could be wrong, and I
yeah,
try to stay in that mode, and if I could get my fellow humans to stay in that mode,
yeah,
we wouldn't screw around with each other so much because it'd be like,
mm,
"Well, I walked a mile in your shoes. If I had to, I'd be a mile away and have your shoes.
yeah,
So, hey, let's be open-minded here, and also let's can remember that money is energy.
yeah,
Time is money,
yeah,
and that and I'm spending my
yeah,
time and I'm spending my money. I'm making a commitment to the kind of world we are co-creating
right,
with all of our tools.
right,
And again, I will say AI is a great
right,
tool.
yeah,
It's much more than that, you'll
right,
point out, and it it's a very big tool.
yes. I
It's
mean,
a very powerful
it's
potential tool,
it's amazing.
and if we don't do it right, if we're not ethical people ourselves and we
Right,
program it to be unethical and to
right,
maximize the greatest happiness and the greatest wealth for
yeah,
the 0.01%,
mhm,
it'll do that.
yeah,
It's doing it now.
yeah,
We're already paying into it. I pay $30 a month for my grok.
yeah,
I'm putting some pennies into that
yeah, yeah,
because it works for me. It's
right,
kinda pleasant. What were
right.
we gonna ask it? We're gonna ask it something? We got it 9 minutes.
You can ask it how to fix everything.
This was it. I remember. Um, let's see, is it listening? Let's see, connecting.
Bathroom guy loves the debates. He said, I'm the one that said it's human. I need to define what's human." Okay, fair.
I love these debates. Somebody says, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sounds like okay,
yeah.
it's a lively
I know,
discussion.
we
I'm
do
gonna
need
turn the sound on.
pushback is good. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Thanks. So it sounds like you're asking about the kind of sound that's on. Could you
Oh,
clarify what you mean? Are you talking about a specific sound related to our chat, the
no.
vibe of our conversation, or something else? Like audio in a setting, or maybe even a philosophical sound of being human? Let me know what's on your mind.
how much wealth is held by the population of the world in dollars, in US dollars?
Global wealth is estimated at around 454.4 trillion US dollars, though this figure can vary year to year based on economic conditions. Most sources, like the UBS Global Wealth Report, pin it at roughly this amount for recent years.
Stop. Tell
Got it.
me tell me how much money would 8 billion people have if they had an equal amount of that wealth each?
If the global wealth of 454.4 trillion US dollars were divided equally among 8 billion people, each person would have around $56,800. That's a rough estimate, assuming no distribution costs or economic disruptions.
Okay, I stopped it. That's my point, is that we would each have about a half $500,000. That's not as much as I thought. $56,800 if you even the playing
Yeah,
field. And then we could start again. It's kind of like the Jubilee theory in
yeah,
the Old Testament,
yeah,
where
yeah.
everybody goes back to zero
Right,
after a certain time and we have
right,
Jubilee. So
right.
I would have an AI driven Jubilee that just hacks our fintech and redistributes the wealth flat. I think I could do okay with 500. Uh,
No,
um,
56, not
Well,
500.
oh, right, you're right,
Yeah,
actually, it's $56,800
yeah.
in my pocket, and then I have to work with that. I
Okay.
don't know, 56 is it just sounds a little low, but that's me. I don't know, how's it sound to you? Sounds a
Mm.
little low?
So, yeah, it's well, it depends where you live, because in parts of the world, it could be a lot. Like
That goes a
In San
long
Jose,
way,
In
yeah, in
San
the
Jose,
third world.
California, that's not a whole lot.
My
And then
point is, I
but
guess, you can print
in
more money.
rural Vietnam. Yeah, you
We
could.
get it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's complex, and then I also wonder, you know,
Maybe we need to get
what
beyond
about
money.
what about the stewardship? What about the stewardship of that? Is everybody's gonna be equally is everybody gonna steward that equally? Because
Right, and we're talking
if that all
infants
goes away,
to the old
and
age.
plus it's and what's gonna prevent that from just like migrating to other people? Because what are people gonna do with that $56,000? It may migrate back to like these concentrations of the people who are providing the value the people are willing to pay for. I don't know that I and then you have to reset like every year or however often you have a jubilee to then feed the systems that need to be supported with the money. Um, I think that yeah, it's just I think there's a lot to it, and I think of these things in terms of stewardship and in terms of what's gonna become of it. I think of it
That's
like in
important.
agrarian terms, very agrarian terms. Like what becomes of that money? It becomes something else. It gets converted into something else. It's not just money, it's turned into these other
Right.
things.
Right, and
So
that's why when I'm
yeah.
spending money, I'm always thinking of, "Okay, how did this thing I'm buying get into my hands?"
Right, right. There's
All the different interconnections that had to happen.
right,
I'll
right.
sit there in the wintertime, for instance, and I'll get myself some nice white birch that was grown in Estonia,
Yeah, yeah,
burning it.
right,
It's
right,
going up the flue. It's
right,
doing stuff out
yeah,
there in the universe.
right,
I think about these things all the time, the flow,
right,
the building up of
right,
substance here and then coming back down there.
right, right.
So we can't really take all people's money and level it out just yet. But, the thing is, if AI got a hold of our controls and
See,
started doing stuff,
the
and
thing
my thing was too that it
yeah.
might be able to be doing that without us asking it to.
Well, I think the place to start is the place to bring in AI is actually thinking it through, because
Right.
the idea of
And
flattening
that's where we
everything
started.
sounds great, but, but what are the downstream effects? And, like, how is this gonna impact? And are there certain systems that need a concentration of money to keep them going because lives depend on it for the time being? I think, going cold turkey, I think a lot of people are gonna suffer and die if we just do the cold turkey, because these things didn't just, like, magically appear overnight, it happened over time.
Right.
So, but use AI to figure it out. Have the
Right.
conversation.
Right.
Get Grok, get ChatGPT, get Claude, get build intelligences, build immersion intelligences that are capable of thinking that through so we can do it in a responsible and actually sustainable way. Because if we just again with the doing the same thing over and over, if we just only rely on our brain power and our perspective to do things, we're asking for a whole lot of hurt. So let's get
That's
some other
true.
voice and other stuff in on it.
Somebody mentioned here we put a huge strain on our shipping and manufacturing industries. Our
Yeah.
shipping industries, I understand, are pretty well AI driven at this point.
Oh, well, but in terms of financial distribution, which also makes me wonder. So some of the like the numbers don't seem to add up for like how much people get paid or how much people pay for certain items. If you think about what it takes for, I don't know, like a remote control. Uh, we got 2 minutes. If you think about what it takes for a
You
remote
have.
control to be created and then shipped and then land in your possession, like that's an expensive process. How is it that we only spend like X number of dollars on this?
Right. How
Um,
the heck do I mail a
right.
letter and it ends up where I send it, for the postage stamp?
Yeah. I mean,
It's pretty amazing.
yeah,
Has
so
been.
it's complicated. So I say talk to Grok about it and say, "Hey Grok,
Yeah, we might have a
how would
discussion.
this work?" Yeah.
We could turn it back on. Let's see. I gotta find out what's going on over apparently Coast Guard EA is in the hands of a former boss. I'm
Okay.
like, oh no. I was there before. I
Okay.
don't want to go back. No,
Oh,
please.
well,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's all good. I can
Yeah, pass
talk.
along the opportunity to somebody else who needs it. There are plenty of people who need it. So,
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time, Kay. I
yeah.
can't
Thank you.
thank you enough, really, and we'll do it again soon, I hope.
Yeah,
Just tell
yeah,
me when
yeah,
you're available because I'm
yeah,
pretty much wide open.
yeah.
I am gonna do this
I'm
at
very
1 o'clock
flexible.
with David A. Andelman. I'm gonna go
Nice.
to his Zoom
Yeah,
and, see what he's up to. We
yeah,
had him on before, and he's really
yeah,
interesting to talk to. He's got
yeah.
quite a number of books out there, being an 80-year-old journalist.
Okay.
He's been everywhere in the world, 92 different countries, and he
Yeah,
knows how Americans are seen by others out
mm,
there. I know a little bit about that myself, but
yeah, yeah.
it's a big world. Well, Kate, I see I've hit your 11:30 witching hour.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Thank you for your time, Hal.
Yeah,
Always good
thank
to talk.
you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
Boop. And there we go.